The morning Annabelle arrived at Damian's mansion, she stood frozen outside the giant iron gates. For a moment, she forgot why she was there. The mansion was enormous. 3 stories tall, white marble walls, luxury vehicles parked in a line like a private showroom. Everything about the place screamed wealth. The kind of wealth most people only saw on television. Annabelle looked down at the piece of paper in her hand. The job address. She checked it 3 times, then looked up at the mansion again. She still couldn't believe it. This was where she would work. If she was lucky enough to keep the job. Her phone vibrated. It was a message from the hospital. A reminder about her mother's unpaid medical bills. Annabelle closed her eyes. The number made her stomach twist. There was no way she could afford it. Not without this job. Not without a miracle. She slipped the phone back into her pocket and took a deep breath. Failure wasn't an option. Not anymore. A security guard opened the gate. "You're the new house help?" "Yes." "Come with me." As they walked through the property, Annabelle noticed something strange. The workers looked nervous. Nobody smiled. Nobody chatted. Nobody laughed. Every person moved as if they were afraid of making a mistake. The atmosphere felt heavy, almost suffocating, as though fear lived inside the walls. Before she could ask why, she heard a deep voice behind her. "Is this the new girl?" Everything went silent. The gardeners stopped moving. The cleaners lowered their eyes. Even the security guard straightened his posture. Annabelle turned around, and there he was. Damian, the millionaire everyone feared. He looked exactly like the rumors described. Expensive suit, perfectly polished shoes, a face that showed no warmth whatsoever. His eyes examined Annabelle from head to toe, not with kindness, not with curiosity, but with judgment, like he was evaluating a piece of equipment, not a person. Annabelle quickly lowered her head. "Good morning, sir." Damian folded his arms. "This house has rules." His voice was calm, but somehow colder than shouting. Annabelle nodded. "Yes, sir." "Do your job." "Yes, sir." "Mind your business." "Yes, sir." "Do not get comfortable here." "Yes, sir." "This is not your father's house." Annabelle swallowed. "Yes, sir." "This is not your home." "Yes, sir." And most importantly, he stepped closer. "Whatever happens between the people in this house is none of your concern." Annabelle nodded again. "Yes, sir." "Good." Damian turned away, then stopped. Without looking back, he added, "I do not tolerate nonsense." And just like that, he walked away. No welcome, no encouragement, no kindness, only warnings. Annabelle stood there silently, trying to convince herself everything would be okay. But deep inside, something felt wrong, very wrong. A few minutes later, an older worker approached her. Her name was Martha. She had worked at the mansion for years, long enough to know things, long enough to understand the pain hidden behind those luxurious walls. Martha gave Annabelle a sympathetic smile. "Don't let it get to you." Annabelle forced a small laugh. "Is he always like that?" The older woman looked around before answering, as if she was afraid someone might hear. "Worse." Annabelle's smile disappeared. "Worse." Martha nodded. "You'll understand soon." There was sadness in her eyes. The kind of sadness that comes from experience. The kind that comes from watching good people suffer. Annabelle wanted to ask more questions, but before she could, a loud crash echoed through the hallway. Everyone froze. A young cleaner had accidentally dropped an expensive vase. The room became silent. The cleaner's face turned pale. And then, footsteps. Heavy footsteps. Getting closer. Damian appeared seconds later. His eyes immediately landed on the broken vase. The young worker began trembling. "I'm sorry, sir." Damian didn't respond. "I'm really sorry." Still nothing. Then Damian finally spoke. And what happened next would reveal exactly why nobody smiled inside that mansion. Because for Damian, people were replaceable, and compassion was a weakness. But what he didn't know was that life was already preparing a lesson he could never buy his way out of. A lesson that would begin with Annabelle. The same house help he barely noticed. The same woman he believed was beneath him. And before this story is over, Damian will discover something that every dollar in his bank account failed to teach him. That the value of a person has absolutely nothing to do with the size of their paycheck.